The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, welcome to our For Scientific Forex live webinar. This is Christina and I'm your host for today. Before we begin, please let me know if you can hear me. Type yes into the chat box on the webinar control panel that is at the right corner of your screen. Please feel free to send me your question by typing them into the chat box. We'll also have a question and answer session at the end of the webinar. There's always so many questions that come during the webinars, and I might miss your question due to the time constraints. If this happens, I suggest for you to make a post in the forum, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you, Michael. If you would like to watch this webinar again, this session is recorded and will be posted in the members area for you to watch or download. The first two webinars are already available in the members area. Just click on the webinars tab. Remember, our team is available if you need any assistance, so just let us know and we'll do our best to assist you. Okay, so I can see that nobody have problem with the sound. It's okay. In the last webinar, we talked about how to set up the charts on the platform, about the trend channels, and made an analysis for euro-dollar. And we should have done an analysis for GBP dollar, but we ran out of time. So in this webinar, I will talk about the following topics: the Elliott wave theory, trends related to the Elliott waves, and I will do GBP pound dollar chart analysis. As you know, Elliott wave theory is published in the book The Wave Principle in 1938 by Ralph Nelson Elliott. The Elliott wave principle is based on the fact that the market has cycles, and those cycles are generated by human behavior. Elliott stated that because man is subject to rhythmical procedures, calculation having to do with his activities can be projected far into the future with a justification and certainty heretofore unattained. So, according to the theory, the market have cycles, and those cycles are composed by one impulse and one corrective. And actually, for impulse, we have about 5 waves, and we have one impulse wave The second is corrective. The third wave that is also one impulse wave, a corrective one, and the fifth that is weakest and also impulsive, an impulse wave. For the corrective move, we have three waves that in that theory Elliot named it like ABC move. This is for an uptrend, and also we have same with a downtrend. Probably you can remember euro-dollar chart. We was into one downtrend, and we have into one channel those very clear waves that we have those waves that are very clear drawn on the chart. Okay. In a trending market, this combination will make a complete cycle of 8 waves. So we have 5 impulse wave pattern followed by 3 wave corrective pattern, ABC. Okay, now I want to go into the chart and to show you some examples. I will start with pound dollar, and here we are into the weekly chart. So what we can see in the market, we have an uptrend, and we have here the waves. I will make another color, the trend line, because I don't want to be any confusion between channel lines and trend lines and the waves. So this will be the first wave. Here we have the second one that is smaller. The next one, the third wave. Fourth and fifth. And after that we have those corrective waves. So we can say that on pound we have one complete cycle, and we have to see what is the direction that the pair will have in the future. To be more precise, and how is that helping us, this theory? Actually, somehow you can draw a channel for those impulse or corrective waves. So I can have here same one channel. And we have one idea about how the market is moving. I want you to consider that this is not exactly the trend line how we used to do in the platform. When we are working, is not very precise. We have to draw the trend line taking two high. This will be one high, This will be the second, and we have to set the inferior trend line. But I want to put those lines of the channel with a little bit distance because I want you to see how is acting the market. So it's more important in this moment to see that cycle with wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, 5, and the corrective wave A, B, C, because our purpose in this webinar is to explain how the market is acting. Of course, it is one relation between those waves. This is not a normal way for acting because actually the first wave is not the biggest one as we have in this cycle. The biggest one is the third wave. And also we can see that the fourth wave is almost at the same level with the fourth wave make a law almost at the same level with the second one that also is unusual. But you know very well that we have a special condition for the market in that period. Actually, after the event that was in 2008, and sometimes the market is have one influence by the political changes regarding the laws, regarding the regulation for the market, regarding the intervention of the central banks. I have one question here. Why is a gap between the end of wave 5 and starting of wave A? Actually, between those impulsive and corrective moves, it happened to have one consolidation or one ranging market or so. You can consider this like something normal because it's indecision in the market, so all the time is can be things like this consolidation, ranking market for a long period, the waves not quite equal, but in big lines we have the idea how the market is moved, and I will show you in the next in this webinar and in the next one that all those waves are measured and are proportional between them. Actually, the first wave, we can know how long will be, how strength, and how number the pips we will have. But the second will, if we will measure with Fibonacci, and I will do this right now, we will see that is at one of the levels of Fibonacci. In this case, the second wave was about 38.2 value. We have that the candles went to the 41.4 level, but we have a shadow, and they retraced from 38.2 and went for the third wave. I will let this Fibonacci in the left side of the screen, and I will try to measure the second wave. Okay, so the third wave also was at one Fibonacci level, went up to the 141.4, and actually the body of the candles was starting to retreat from 127 level of Fibonacci. That was very unusual because in the most situation the third wave is the biggest one, actually is bigger than the first wave. This will be the first wave, so this one is really too small. Probably in this period in 2010 in November, it was something that was happening, and if we are going to the history of that moment, probably we will find what was the problem at that date. As long as the fourth wave didn't make a law bigger than second wave, we can see that was quite over this level. That was the law of the second wave. We can consider that we are still in an uptrend, and we have to consider that for the next period will be a fifth wave that also is unusual because the fifth is the smallest, the weakest in the, and actually first wave and fifth wave usually have the same value. But again, was some special, we have a special market in this period, and we cannot anticipate that the length of the waves will be as there are described in manuals. We can be happy with something different. We can be happy with the fact that those waves have respecting some Fibonacci levels. So again, we can see that the candles and that fifth wave went until to one Fibonacci level, 141.4, and retraced. In the moment when the pair broke the inferior channel line, we have this pullback that was unusual. Here is happening from time to time to have consolidation, but also a good indication is if the currency is going back to test the channel line and retrace. In that case, the currency broke the trend line, the inferior trend line, that red one, and retrace and test again the inferior trend line, but this trend line was acting like resistance, and the currency start his way back, start the corrective wave. The corrective waves allowed me to delete those fibos that I put in the market. the last one. The corrective waves, ABC, they are usually named ABC, have the same length. Actually, in most of the case, the wave A is equal with wave C. Also, we can measure those waves with Fibonacci. And we can see that after we know the length of the wave A, we can anticipate that the wave B will be at one level of Fibonacci. And in this case, we have the end of the wave B at 61.8 Fibonacci. And it starts the C wave. Okay. I want you to notice something different. We are in a weekly chart, and this cycle was starting with April 2010 and actually was till February 2012. So we have about 2 years. It's a very long period. This is why we are not going into one thread when we are on the weekly chart. It's a good idea to see what is happening with a country. In this case, with Great Britain, and actually, what was happened in this period? There was the problems starting in 2007-2008 when most of the markets went down, and of course British market was had problem, and they start to make some measures regarding their economic political. So they start with some austerity measures. They support some of the banks that are located in Great Britain. Actually, Cameroon fired a lot of people that are working for the state and so on. All those measures helped the pound to be stronger. But still, United Kingdom is in Europe and have a lot of relation with European economy, with European banks. They have a lot of investment in European countries, in European bonds, and so on. This is why we have this corrective wave, because it was one point when starting in August 2011, when all the European countries was downgraded, when we saw that actually we have a lot of problems with sovereign debt, and we find that the governments of Europe lended too much money, and actually because there are so many taxes, the economy is not going is weaker, and all that social protection that they apply are not sustainable. So in this case, we have that correction. We have the downgrades of the states. We have the problem with Greece because it happened that Greece was the uh, weakest country with uh, problems with not so good balance economy, but actually it's not just Greece, the country that have problems. We have most of the countries in Europe with the same problem, but maybe they have a better exports or have or a strongest economy. They are producing more. Okay, let's go further for this analysis with the wave theory. I also want to show you something. For one wave on weekly, we have about 1,800 pips. This is a very big value, but we can understand that a bigger number of pips can be considered on a bigger chart. Also, it's very difficult to go for money management in those time frames because it's very difficult to support such a big distance for stop loss, and this is the reason why on weekly chart are acting maybe the central banks, the big bank, and the funds that are very strong, like retirement funds and so on. They are going and they are looking for the weekly chart. We have to look for smaller chart, and you will see that we have same patterns on daily, but those cycles are smaller and the waves are smaller too. In the same period on daily, we can see that for one of the waves on weekly, we have more um, waves. So we can consider that one cycle is for maybe one period that on weekly is just one wave or so. And I will go to the analyze of just one wave. 1, 2, 3. Let's go for the wave 3. 1, 2, 3. That one. I point it like this because I want you to recognize this wave when I will go on smaller time frame. So between these, we have to make the analysis. Just let me know if it is too small, because I need to draw some waves on this chart to show you the cycle, and I think that this is how I can make it. So on the 4-hour chart, we can have smaller channels. This is our first benefit from this theory. So we can have a channel like this. And also you can see that is better respected this theory on smaller time frames. Actually, on 4-hour time frames, the political influence is not so strong. The periods are shorter. We are talking about, let me draw first the waves. So we have one wave, we have second, third wave. This one can be considered the fourth and the fifth. So you can see that they are more precise for the related to the channel lines, and actually also for the length of waves we have more precise values, and more from what is coming those is because this is coming because the speculators, the actually the retail segment from the forex market is going more for technical analysis. So they will pay attention to the channels, they will pay attention to the Elliott theory, they will pay attention to any candles or so, they will pay attention to the length of the waves as they are in the manual. And if we put Fibonacci, we can see that for the first wave, the retrace was up to the corrective wave was about 61.8 at this level. And actually this is normal. The normal value is something for the normal value for the second wave is something between 61.8 and 88.6. For some currency, the wave is going just until 61.8, and maybe the shadow will go to 70.7. For euro, I saw that the second wave is going between 70.7, 78.6, and it was happened a lot of time to be up to the 88.6, but most of the time on that was just shadows of the candles, not really the body. The body is the body of the last candle that is making that is pointing the low is between 61.8 and 78.6. Also, in the 4-hour chart, the wave 3 is the biggest one. Will be simple like this, but we can do this one. We can measure. And if we measure with Fibonacci, if we can just translate this Fibonacci with the zero value in this high that made, we can see that the third wave was 113 from the first wave. Also, we can put the Fibonacci on the second wave and we can measure as one proportional value from the second wave. For the second wave, we put Fibonacci in the high that was made in the biggest value made by the first wave, and we drag it up to the low made by second wave in the point where the currency make the reverse and start the third wave. In this case, I will drag it to in this case we can see that related to the second wave, the third wave is I miss some values here. Was bigger. We have here the 100, and here is more than 161. Actually, was very close. The first moment when the currency make the retracement was at 161.8 Fibo level from the second wave. So here the market start one consolidation. The participants of the market start to be not so sure that the impulse will be bigger, and actually they determine the fourth wave. The fourth and the fifth wave usually are at the same value, have the same strength, maybe. Sometimes the fifth wave is a little bigger than the fourth one, but comparing with the wave 1 and wave 3, the fifth wave is the smallest. In this part, I consider also the shadow. So actually the shadow is considered by all the traders the emotion that are in the market. And what was happened in the next period? We have the fourth wave and fifth wave, something like uncertain, was also that can be considered one ranking market. And we have one ABC move. A, B, C. Here, the currency stopped into one very strong level that is actually is the inferior line from the weekly channel. Maybe is not the exactly value, but because you remember that I didn't draw the exactly trend channel as we have to do when we are going to make the analysis, because I want you to show today just the cycles of the market. So in this period, it was a cycle. We can see that for the next period, we have one other cycle. So it is possible that in the market, for one uptrend on a bigger time frame, we have more cycles on smaller time frame, but in the same direction. So it's not necessary after one impulse into one uptrend to have one impulse into one downtrend. The move can go further, and we can start one other cycle for also into one uptrend. So here we can just figure out. I will change this one here because I want to separate to make one separation between the cycles, and will be one second wave, third wave, fourth, fifth one, and the corrective move. 1, 2, 3. We can see that here in this point I have one hesitation if I will put the third wave like this or like that one. It's happening sometimes to so in forex market we have a lot of problems that are coming from time to time. You can have one quick approximation of what is happening, but not all the time quite well. Here maybe some person went to the right move, and I told you that into one corrective wave we have wave A and wave C at the same length. Here, this wave, this small one, was not complete, and actually we can consider the wave C this one. And in this point, the currency tests in this point, the currency tests the inferior trend line of the channel on weekly, and actually the trend line was broke, and the pair have one move into downtrend. One tips that maybe one trick that you can have in your mind, actually when a currency is testing 3 times in a row one support or one resistance, and the pair is not able to break it, the move will continue. So if the currency was not able to break this trend line at the third time when was testing, the move was continuing upside, and maybe in a weaker cycle than this one. Okay, now let's go for euro dollar. I have one example for downtrend cycle, but I have to arrange my chart. Actually, this is not the monitor where I'm working. So we have euro dollar on daily, and you can see we have the same. So into daily we have one downtrend, and let's see what are the cycles and how is the move on this downtrend. I will go into a smaller chart, like for hour. And if here in daily we have just one impulse, we will go for details on the smaller time frame. So here what we have. Um, for the beginners, because sometimes it's very difficult to identify the waves, it's very easy to drag onto the chart the zigzag. Sorry, I didn't take any question. I will take it later. I will make one break between those analysis and analysis of GPP with all the indicators on the chart. I have one question. Hi Christine, would you normally use Elliott wave profit for this analysis? Actually, we made, not we, Tudor. Tudor is the one that made Elliott wave profit. And I just told him how I'm making the analysis of the chart and how is working those, what are those values for waves. If you are going into the history of the currency, you can have one idea about the length of the waves, not just the fact that it was stopped at one Fibonacci level, but you can have some information about how many times the currency was stopped at 61.8 level, or at 70 level, or at 41 level, or 38 or so. And this is what Tudor tried to make with Elliott wave profit. He made one anticipation of the waves, and but you have to adjust the lines of Elliott profit, because the idea is right, but you never know what are the changes that are coming from the political, from our political partners, they take it like this. We don't know if they are coming with new regulation. We don't know if sometimes they can go into the market with one statement regarding, I don't know, some rules they want to regulate in the next period, like what happened with Mr. Sarkozy when he said that he want one Robin Hood taxes for financial market. Actually, it's difficult and it's not so fair to put one taxes for financial market, because the things I'm considering the things like this. There are persons that are making savings and have money that they want to invest. Maybe not all of them, but part of them. Those money are not coming from sky, are not growing in trees. Those people work for those amounts and was taxed already. The government applied some taxes on those values. So if you are going to invest, it's not normal to have 1 second tax on those money. because for any activity that one company is developing with some investment funds or so are taxed when the government is going to put some taxes on the activity. So if you have some taxes for income and so, it's not normal to put again taxes on the money that they are invested. So sometimes the political personalities are coming into the market with some ideas like this, and the markets are reacting. When he came with this statement, a lot of persons wanted to move their financial activity from Europe into some other countries. Actually, in the next few months, most of the company was changing the offices from London to some countries that located in Asia. And part of them just rest in Europe, but into one fiscal paradise in Malta, because Malta also is in Europe. So all those statements from political have a big influence, even if they didn't have success to implement in the market. But for 4 hours, we don't have those political influence, so we can look for more accuracy to the charts and so on. So into euro dollar for 4 hour chart, let's just see how are the waves. I intended to take out the zigzag because zigzag is sometimes zigzag is one indicator that is pointing all the time the high and the low that are made in the market. But as you remember in the previous example, we have the corrective wave, the third corrective wave. See, that was not so clear. So in that case, zigzag should indicate that we have not just 3 waves but 5 or so, and maybe you can be, I don't know, maybe you can be disturbed in your analysis and in the way you are making the trades into the market. So here we have one wave, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, and fifth one. And those 3 that are ABC. This is corrective move of this cycle. And those will be A B and C. So we can see the first win is that on 4 hours the channel is more clear. The height are on those trend line. The low also are respecting this trend line. More or less, not exactly. We don't have one exactly point into the Forex market. But it's very good for us as traders if something is into one fixed value. Now we can see that wave 1 is actually the length of wave 1 we cannot measure. I will start to measure the wave, the rest of the waves, because you can see by the eye that wave 3 was not the biggest and wave 5 was not the weakest. Just to show for you this example, because not all the time the rules are respected, but there are some other rules that the currency are respecting, like this trend channel. This is very important for one trader. So what are the values that they respected? If we put Fibonacci from top to low, on the first wave, we can see that the high made by the wave 2 was at the level 61.8. This is something very good for a trader because one of the levels are respected, so you can go into one trend when you can see this pattern, candlestick pattern, and also correlated with the rest of the indicators, you can go into one uptrend, considering that is starting the wave number 2. In this case, for this wave, we have about 427 pips, 430, something like this. That means a lot for one trader for one medium period. And we have how many candles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So actually was completed in one day. We are on 4-hour chart, so about 20 hours. The wave 3 if we are measuring, um, sorry, the wave 3 was at about 127 level from the wave 2. If you are not, if you don't put the wave 3 in relation with wave 1, you can see that all the time the wave 3 will be related with the wave 2 at 127 or 141. Actually, we have a big candle here, and everyone was scared, and the pair was retraced. Um, so those moves was composed by one strong move on that candle and something that was more like one consolidation, but at the end the market decided to complete the wave 3 and start the new wave. Actually, most of the time, wave 3 is something between 113 and 161 from the second wave. So in this area, we can consider that wave 3 is ready to be complete, and we are expecting that at 127 or at 141 the pair will start a new wave. When we are numbering the candles, we can see how long took that period. We have 12 candles. We have 12 candles. So was a period bigger than was a period that lasts for a few days. Okay, I will try to move a little bit the Fibonacci because I want to measure the next wave. The next wave will start in the top of the wave 3. The the Fibonacci will be in the highest point of wave 3, and in this case we will have the measure of I wanted to change the color of the last Fibonacci, but it's okay. So we put Fibonacci on the wave 3 because we want to measure the wave 4. Wave 4 is, as you can see, at about 61.8. But we have small candles. Everyone was not so confident in this movement for the uptrend, and everyone start to doubt about the fact that the euro have so much strength to go in a upper trend. And this is actually 61.8 on the Fibo level was a big surprise. And when the fifth wave start with into some violent moves. So this is why we have bigger candles and we have such a big wave 5. Let's measure now this wave 5. Between those periods, between 20 to 11 2010 and the end of November 2010, we have this wave 5. And when we put Fibonacci, on the chart, this time I will make one other color with Fibonacci. We can see that the values was bigger than 161 and was very close to the level of 261.8. So is a very unusual value, and because 261 is quite unusual for grade 5, was this level was not touched by the QNC and start the corrective move. Okay, I will answer to some question now, because I want to go for the analysis of GPP USD. So I will answer to the question, because I think that as long as we are at this subject, we have to clarify a few things. So I will start with the easy one. Hi Christina, sorry that I'm late. It's not a problem. Actually, we are not in the normal school, and we are adults. We know that there are some or other things to do in our lives. It's okay. So it's not a problem. The webinar is recorded, so everyone can see it later. It's okay. It's not a problem, really. First question from Tan. Did you draw a channel on 4-hour chart and when change it to 1 hour, or have two charts on drawing the channel? Actually, when I'm working, I have into the windows two charts like those one. Sorry, not that one. Those two. Also, I have so I have two charts where I have all the indicators. Could be this one into the left, 1 hour chart, and that one is 5 minutes chart. If I am working on daily basis, if I'm going for smaller position on bigger time frame, I have 4-hour chart, and also for the entry and exits, I'm looking to 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Sometimes I have even 1 hour chart into the right in this area. I have those two charts on the screen that are all the time open, and I have one simple chart like those one where I have the analysis with the trends and with FIBO, and that chart is daily or 4 hours if I'm working with it's 4 hours if I'm working on 1 hour chart and 5 minutes. I am working also with two monitors. I have two screens, because you can if you have this window deselected, you can drag the platform and you can have all those charts into one window but on different screen. Actually, my both monitor have the same dimension because it's better that way, and I have one other windows with where I'm looking for news and for releases for different stuff like this. This is how I'm working. The routine is to open the charts, the simple charts like this one, like those two that I have, and to make the analysis. And after that, I'm looking to the charts with indicators. Um, Arun Kumar. Hi, is wave 5 smaller than wave 1? Usual, uh, until, until 2008, the wave 4 and wave 5 had was the smaller, the weakest. The impulse have no more power. It's something like we have in Dow theory. Um, Dow theory is saying is actually applicable to shares, and also talk about the cycles of the market. And that theory said that we have one accumulation period, the public participation and distribution. Actually, the same thing we have for currencies. We have impulse, corrective waves, and ranking market. When the market is not decide which is the direction. Um, so in the manual, actually the wave 4 and the wave 5 are the smallest. But I show you one example what means one political intervention, and we can have the surprise that wave 3 is the smallest one, not the biggest, and the wave 5 that should be the weaker is the strongest, the biggest wave. Actually, what we can appreciate from that move that I was just talking about earlier is the fact that the pair was into one channel and the high and the lows was to one Fibonacci level. So this is helping us. Also, we can have a big help from money management system because you can control those moves that are not usual. Edwin, yes, this webinar is recorded. I hope that, and I am not the only one that is recording, so at least at least one person from our team will have a good version of the webinar. So we will edit it and we will post it in members area. Stuart. Hi, Christina. Is a good way to show the waves to use the zigzag indicator. In this, is this reliable to show them onto the chart? Actually, zigzag is not indicating exactly the move and exactly the cycle, but for beginner, it's better to have something than have nothing. Zigzag is very good for them and is a helpful indicator. In time, with exercises, you can discover those cycles without any problem, and it will be okay. Alice. Okay, I'll do that if necessary. I think that analysis with Elliott wave is very necessary. And also Steve, why is there a gap between the and then okay, we talk about the gap is actually is not a gap, is one ranking market. Probably the market is waiting for some news. You know how much we was waiting, and still we are waiting to know what is the decision for Greece. I think that the worst thing for one country is to stay and wait what is happening with them. And actually, not just the Greeks are waiting to see what is happening. We all are waiting to have one clear decision from Europe politicians. Where can I find the previous recorded webinar? The webinars have a section when you are going into the members area. You can see that is also one section for webinars. In the webinar 2, you will see how it's working this blog. Wesley have a very nice webinar where he explained everything. He recorded and he explained very well everything regarding how it's working and how you can use, how you can post, how you can answer to some question or some post or comments into that blog. Also in the webinar 2, we had the tutor that explained how we can use the expert advisor and of course, if you have some more questions, he is the right person to answer to them. Pierre, why can't the A point be joined to end of wave 5? Actually, this is how it's working. We have into one cycle, and at least from the Elliott wave theory, most of the person knows this. We have one cycle that is composed by 8 moves. 5 moves are from the impulse move. We have wave 1, wave 3, wave 5 as impulse waves, and wave 2 and 4 as corrective. All those 5 are into the impulse move. And the last 3 waves from the cycle, A, B, C, that are composing the corrective move. Sometimes between wave 5 and wave 4, we can have one period of consolidation, one period of ranking market. This ranking market actually represent one period when the currency try to have more force to continue the move. But sometimes this move is rejected from the resistance area if we are into one uptrend, and when down we have the corrective move, or vice versa if we are into one uptrend, into one downtrend, sorry. Okay, I thought that the third wave was supposed to be the largest wave. Actually, if you are looking on the charts that are before 2008, um, those proportion between the waves was respected. In after 2008, when we have all those intervention, bailouts, some loans, some downgraded of the countries, the market was different. We have to be, I think that is good that still the market is respecting Fibonacci level, and also the market is respecting one trend channel. And also that we have those cycles. Actually, I don't imagine that somebody is thought that was some very precise points in the behavior of financial market. I don't think that something like this exists. Actually, we have to describe as well as possible those moves, because this will help us to anticipate what we can expect for the future. So I think that Elliott wave that is talking about the investor psychology and about the cycles is quite a good model, and also as probably you already noticed, Fibonacci is a great tool for measuring. Done. Why do you need to charge if you trade on 1 hour chart? Actually, I'm on the one hour chart. I have some signals for entry and exits, but on 5 minutes chart I have I think 7 or 8 times more signals. So it's easier for me. Maybe it's one routine. I really don't know. But it's when you are going into a smaller time frame, it's better to see the entries and the exits better. If you have, actually, for when I'm trading during the day, the 1 hour chart is showing me the big picture. I have all the time in my mind the big picture, what is happening, what I intend to do with that currency. If it is one consolidation, if it is something different, or so on. Maybe, I don't know, it's just, of course, if you have one other routine and you feel comfortable with this, it's okay to use it. Okay. Hi, Christina. I always got told wave 3 cannot be the smallest wave. Yes, and this is why I chose that example for you, because you have to know that sometimes the political intervention can be very strong and have we can see in the market that the rules are not respected. So sometimes it's happening. You have to know this. Okay, Eric, very good question. How do you know which is wave number 1? Okay. So um, if I'm making analysis for daily and 4 hour, I can see that is one point that will mark on reverse of the trend. So we have here one trend. This is one other wave, maybe into one other. Um, I think so. Here we have in this period one cycle, and it starts the second one that also is composed by different waves and one ABC formation. Actually, when the bigger time frames, you have some candlestick patterns that is indicating us one reverse. The first wave is most difficult to take in consideration, but for daily, this period start at the end of October and last until the half of January. It's a very long period for a trader. I don't think that you have to stay into this. You have. I don't think that you consider this just one wave for one other cycle. We have about 950 pips, and actually you have to consider that at is a very long move and is a very big amount of pips. So I'm not so sure that there are many persons that are staying into such type of move, because you can go into 4-hour chart and you can accommodate with smaller moves. 200 pips on that one or here, depending how you are considering. The next move will be about 230 pips too. So I think that the biggest time frame for us as retail traders is okay. For our is maybe is the biggest time frame we have to look for entry and exits to the trades. I think that daily is too much. Daily is too much. Larry, I can see very clear a correction cycle before the one you drew. Yes, there are. Actually, I wanted just to show you the waves and how it is not quite complicated to determine those cycles. Yeah. Johan, Krishna, please show us how to set up wave profit for euro dollar and GBP in real time. I think that actually in this webinar we don't have enough time. I will kindly ask Tudor, maybe he will have some times for a webinar where you can put all those questions related with expert advisor. He he knows all details that are related with those expert advisors. I am not yet familiar with all of them. With Elliott Wave, it's okay. but actually I used to I used this system is manual. I'm using to work without any experts. And first I want to explain you how the system is working, and after that we can go with experts, and maybe we can improve them, and we can I don't know. Boredom. In the corrective wave pattern, it looks like there are actually 5 waves. Why did you not consider the first set here on this one? Um, I told you I consider this is one impulse for one cycle of the currency. So if I want to see something different, I will go to a bigger time frame. But here is most like one market in consolidation. Maybe in this area we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and corrective wave. And here probably we have something like one impulse and one corrective move. One impulse, maybe one corrective. Again, one impulse and one corrective. Actually, on weekly, this is how I was thinking. For me, was just one. For me, this one was one cycle based on what was happening on weekly. This one was one other cycle, and corrective move is not so clear because the pair have a very aggressive downtrend. In the last period is happening with pound like this is a little bit different how it's acting the euro. So for me, starting from this, let's say, and this is one cycle. So also is not usual. We have 1, 2, sorry. So we can see also that the wave 3 is not the strongest, and the last wave is bigger than wave 3. The corrective move again was not quite clear. The third wave was stopped in this area. Actually, this is the period when everyone is talking about what is happening with Greece, if they will be helped or not to go from that uh, situation. And until we will have one clear decision, the market is into is ranking. Here you can see that was fooled by politician that everything is solved and intended to go up, but went down when they find that Greece was downgraded. And here we have those discussion that was in the weekend related with uncertainty of the loans that and also we have few days this was on Friday, good NFP and so on. Jason actually he left. Martin, how do you know where to commence drawing the wave? Actually, I know that one wave have a chance to be completed when I have several things that is indicating this. The wave is close to superior or inferior channel line. I have one important Fibo level, and also I have one candlestick pattern for reverse, something like this. Also, there are the other indicators, crossover RSI, when the chart that is indicating that the market is prepared for one uptrend or for one downtrend. If the crossover RSI, considering this chart, crossover RSI, oscillator, MACD are making all a low, we have to consider that we have to prepare for buy. So for bigger time frames, we can consider that a new cycle start. For the first one is quite difficult for any trader to identify, and also it's quite difficult to identify the length of first wave. I will show you one way with the Fibonacci extension, but when we will go to the analysis of the chart. The second wave is easier to identify because usual the second wave is at one level of Fibonacci. I don't know why this chart is. You can consider to put the Fibonacci from this. Okay. So in this case, here was one level for Fibonacci. You can see that the pair was trying to reach at 50 level 1, 2, 3 times, and after that it was rejected. Actually, the pound is love this level of 50. And we can consider that the second wave was to those 50 level and retreat when the third wave was not the biggest wave, and the pair has that move, we already can be very skeptical about the evolution of the pair. You can see very clear that the wave 2 and wave 3, this one is the wave 3. Wave 2 and wave 3 have the same length. So market was in something like consolidation, lost the impulse, and prepare for reverse. Anyway, you have to consider the fact that we have one Fibonacci level for those waves, and they are related with those values. And also you have to consider that we are living in very unusual times. There are so many changes, and most of the people don't know how to react. They don't know how to treat their business, because when you are making one business plan and you are supposing that you will have some level of taxes, and the politicians are changing this, it's quite difficult to respect those things that you put in your business plan. And of course, the assistance of people that have different type of problems make economics be very difficult. When riot are on the street, or maybe when other person are in the street and fighting with authorities, the business and the economic is going down. Ram, does the zigzag indicator help to identify the waves? Yes, and I'm recommending the beginners in Forex to use zigzag, because they will find a big help from zigzag. Yes, we have my hidden shadow. Pierre, so looks like in most cases out of the 8 waves pattern, wave 3 to wave 3 often end up forming the head and shoulder pattern, irrespective of whether the formation is successful or not, with or without a breakdown. Is that right? Not all the candlestick patterns is like head and shoulder, like here we have a double bottom. I will talk about candlesticks pattern and candlestick price pattern into one future webinar, not now. But actually, we find one candlestick pattern for each we have one type of pattern for each end of the waves, and for each impulse and corrective move. but not just head and shoulder. Edward, would you normally use Elliott wave profit for this analysis? No, Tudor made Elliott wave profit for to help the person that want to learn the system. I'm not a programmer. And just I was reading Elliott wave theory, and I have read a lot of books about behavior in economic and about psychology to understand what is happening in the markets. But Tudor is the one that invented Elliott wave profit that everybody is loving. Is a tool that everyone likes and is helpful. Alice, on Alpahri UK, there is no spike up to on November 12. I compared the charts on different from different brokers, and I have no problem. So I think that it's okay. Jeff, should we trade each wave on a low time frame, or just trade each wave on 4-hour time frame? The difference between trading on 4-hour chart and 1-hour chart is that you can go into, you have to go into trades that you look for 4-hour chart with smaller equity, because you have bigger stop loss and also reward is bigger, but you have to be sure that the usual variation into 4-hour chart is not taking your stop loss or so. And you can go into 1 hour if you have smaller equity, and you in this case you can set your money management with bigger risk, with bigger position, and the stop loss will be lower, and you have to be more active on the charts. Michael, Christina, the Elliott wave profit is not mentioned in the booklet. Do you use this in your trading? No, I'm not used yet with Elliott wave profit. It was made when we was preparing the manual and those DVDs that you received, and actually I was very busy with some other stuff, but we checked, both of us, Tudor and me, on the charts, and we like how it is working. And I find that is a very good tool for somebody that is not used to make analysis for wave and with people and so on. I really think that is a very good advisor. It's a very good tool for trading. David. Krishna, I would like to know what times you analyze the market to place trades before London, Asian, or I have trouble putting on a position during the evening Asian market with London doing stage this later. Thanks. Actually, if you are available to stay in the market just a few times, you have to go on bigger time frame to work with the low position and to have the into perspective. You have to look for bigger reward. So here we have one wave about 670 pips. The next wave is about 380. And if you are numbering the candles on daily, you can see that was not just one day. You can anticipate the period. We have 1 or 2 weeks for each of those moves. So it's not so important what is happening daily in the market. You have you have to stay several days. You have for each of those to I don't know. You have to consider that it's not important if you are at the opening of the market or in the end of the market, or if you are doing just what is the problem for what is you are not is not making a big influence if you are in the market when the European or market is open or if States market is open, something like this. For 1 hour chart, 4 hour chart is something different. Of course, it's better to be in the market 1 hour or so before European market is open, and to go out when the volatility is smaller, when you have not so much action into the market. It's according with your area. And maybe you have European market open during the night or very, very late. So you have to consider maybe 4 hour chart or daily chart. Makar, how many currency analyzes in a day? Actually, I'm not working with too many currency. I was working with 3 or 4 currency, and I make some analysis for GBP, yen, or euro yen, and in the late period, I was making the analysis on basis on daily. So it's not necessary to make one analyze every day. But it's very good to know what is happening with that currency from political point of view, from economic point of view, if they are taking some measure, if they are having problem with exports or imports, or I don't know. When you are making the analysis for just one currency, you can go for more details. Actually, to make analysis each day for I don't know how many pairs, can be a very hard work, and I don't know if anyone can do. Anyway, for beginners, I suggest that maybe they will look for one or two pairs and will stay with them and look also for other um, analysis and for other regarding fundamental things, changes that are in those countries and so on. Okay, what's the number where are we in on GBP dollar for our chart right now? Okay, let's go to analyze what is happening with GBP because we have one impulse movement, we have one uh, correction, but the wave A and wave C are not equal. We have to look what is happening with this pair now in this period. It was one consolidation because of the situation with Greece, and if Greece have big problem, all the countries that are in Europe will gonna have quite big problems. And also, one of the countries that will have problem will be Great Britain. Why? Because a lot of investment company are have the office in Great Britain. The biggest investor in sovereign debts of Greece are the French banks, especially Societe Generale and BNP Paribas. But also there are a lot of important creditors that are located in United Kingdom. Of all of those creditors will have to record in their balance some lost, and this will have one influence in all the markets from Europe because the stock market will be in a down direction if the political moves are not correctly put together. So when we have one uncertainty, we have those types of consolidation. This is what is happening now with pound. The pound have no force to go into one uptrend, and also didn't go for the downtrend here. So I will go for smaller time frames. And now you can see better what is happening. Here we have one type of impulse wave, impulse part of the cycle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, and now probably it will go with the corrective wave, with those 3 waves. How we can measure those things into one ranking market? We can use Fibonacci extension. I will take off that one. let's say uh, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 waves that are actually into the same level between those. It was one horizontal channel. So if I want to see what are the targets for the new moves, I will use Fibonacci extension, not Fibonacci retracement. How I can find Fibonacci extension? Click right to the mouse, go to the customize, and in this ticket we can introduce the Fibonacci extension. Insert and close. So we have here Fibonacci expansion. How we can use it? We simply put into the chart like this. Fibonacci extension have 3 points. So it is like an angle with 3 points. We have to put those 2 points of the arcs of Fibonacci extension into the high, or and the third point will be into the low. If we are in the other side, we have to put vice versa. We can see that the pair was trying those levels for Fibonacci extension, but we should have one stronger move if it was a downtrend, or sorry. So if you to break this ranking market, to break this channel, the pair should go lower than 127 Fibonacci extension, maybe to reach 161 or even lower. I don't have the values here. So I think that the market still is into the consolidation period. This is the analysis for GBP dollar regarding the waves. So let's see what is happening when we have all the indicators on the chart. So I have those two charts. I will load the template with all the indicators. So here I have the channel. Okay. The last important move on daily was this wave. So if I put Fibonacci on this wave, I can see that the channel was established around 38.2, 41.4 from this wave. But instead to continue the uptrend, we have one corrective move that was stopped something like a half. we should have same move in this direction because we have one impulsive and one corrective point. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we have the signal for the going into one uptrend, but was not so strong. You can see that we also have MACD, but for MACD we have, if we have here the signal for sell and here signal for sell, here when, sorry, I will put also those. So here and here is the signal for MACD. So if here we have one signal for one sell, and you can see that the pair went down, we also have on to MACD one signal for sell that confirm at the half of the move that we are in the right direction. But when we have the signal for buy here in this point, MACD is not indicating that we are into one uptrend. So in this case, we should know that this signal on with cross of RSI and on the main indicators is not a strong signal. Actually, because a lot of person ask me, I can tell you that the signal when you have the confirmation for MACD that we have here and here on that one, those are stronger signals because you have a confirmation on the MACD. This is a weak signal and will not have the same influence as the previous one. Anyway, those are details, and I am sure that you will master in time after you will be used to make the analysis in this style. And I'm sure that you are going to make the difference between those signals that we have. But anyway, this is daily. I will change also this. I am making those signs because I want you to follow in different time frames what is happening. So those two signals that we have into daily for this period. Of course, we can see that we have more signals for buy and sell. Here is another one. And now it was a signal here for one buy, and I think that here the last one will be also confirmed with the MACD. I think that the signal that will come into daily chart with confirmation from MACD will give us the break out from this channel. So, but let's see what is happening. This is actually on daily. Let's see what is happening on 4-hour chart, because this one is a big one. I will choose the second. I will choose the second chart because I put more signals. So that one I will let it is daily. That one I will magnify it, and I will go for 4 hours. Into 4 hours, we can see that we have different things, and we can also look for one channel here was like this and was a little bit modified later. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, and waiting for one corrective wave that um, we have to surprise that on 4-hour chart already started. So what are the signals on 4-hour chart? I will mark this because I want to change the color of those vertical lines. And what we can see here, we already have the signal for 4 hours. Here on MACD, seems that the line of MACD is going out from histogram, so probably it will be a very strong signal. For sure, this signal, this up move will break this trend line. And also we can see here the confirmation for SAR, because up to this candle the SAR was above, now is under the currency. And I will put also the rest of the signal. Here was one cell. We have that one that started in this area. Actually, for all the crosses here, we can see that the signal on daily, the confirmation on daily was later than the signal on 4 hours. On 4 hours we have that signal, and also we have confirmation for MACD. You have to remember that on daily we don't have so many confirmation on MACD. Here it was one confusing signal because it was a signal for buy in this area, and indeed the pair went up, but I said that it was confusing because into MACD we have signal for sell. Actually, when the line and the histogram went above zero, the signal should be for sell, not for buy. But on this main indicators, we have the signal for buy, and we can see that in this period we have one trade with one target of about 90 pips. So I think that is interesting for anyone to go into such a trade. Here we have one signal for sell and also the signal from histogram. We can see that here was 1 point of reverse for the pair. So was a very strong signal as long as it was confirmed also by MACD. And actually here was the high of this period, and here was the point where the currency went down. I will put also the rest of the signals. Here one signal for buy, yes, not confirmed by that were not confirmed by the MACD, but was the second signal for the second signal for buy, and also that signal was with confirmation from MACD. Okay, so you can find the rest of the signals in that period. The red one are for daily chart and the blue one are for the 4-hour chart. What is happening if we are going into 1-hour chart? Into 1-hour chart, actually is more clear that we have one channel with waves. We have some waves. I will change the color for those waves and I will make them not so powerful. So we have one wave, we have the second one, and actually you have the zigzag. But here, when we have third wave, I have one question. Will you only take signal if confirmed with MACD? Not all the time. I'm taking the signal that are given by crossover RSI and oscillator of moving average. But when I have also the confirmation from MACD, I know that I can stay longer in that trade. So something like this is the idea with confirmation from MACD. It's a stronger signal. It will allow you to stay more in a trade if you also have confirmation from MACD. So here wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, let's say like this, wave 5, and now we are waiting for one corrective move. I will magnify this, and in this and now we have to measure all those waves actually, and here is starting the wave 1. So the second wave was up to the 50 level. didn't went to 61 and reverse. So we have one idea what will be with the second wave. Yes. We can notice that the second wave have no power. We go into we go to look for the next wave. So in this case, I have that signal for cell that was confirmed here, and also the signal from MACD. One important level of Fibonacci, 50 level, and I start to think at the third wave. The third wave I'm expecting to be bigger than second wave, maybe at the value of wave 1 or the biggest from this formation. So I will put the Fibonacci here in the top of, in the high, from the low to the high. I will put Fibonacci, and I'm expecting, I have those signals on RSI and on MACD. I'm expecting the wave 3 to be as big, at least as the second wave. So to go to the 100 level of Fibo or bigger. And actually this went over 161 from, here is 161.8. Here is 141.4. Probably around 141.4, I will consider to close the trade. I have also this signal. This is the first one that is indicating me that it's possible to close the order is one opposite signal. And it's a good idea to consider the opposite signal as exits for the trade. And here I have the confirmation that I have to go out. Or here I have the confirmation to go into one buy. I have this confirmation, and also I have here with MACD. So maybe one of us can be comfortable into one buy trade. As you can see, this line is the zigzag. Zigzag is marking all the high and all the lows, but is not actually looking for the cycle. Zigzag can identify just some technical things on the charts, but is not looking at the cycles. But again, is a good indicator for beginners. Okay. So here we have the same things. We have signal for sell here. Again, we have signal for the, I will clean all Fibonacci because probably you want to know what is happening in now. So now we are at the inferior line of the channel. We have a signal for the pair already tested the inferior line of channel. Um, we have that move that was up to here, and it was one move that was not completed. The currency was rejected from the superior line of the channel and didn't reach one Fibo level. I think that the channel line will be tested once again, and we have to look on the 4-hour chart and daily what is indicating. That was one signal on the daily chart and that one on the 4-hour chart. Here on daily chart we have a signal for sell, but it's not confirmed uh, by the MACD. So it's possible not to be so strong. It's possible the pair to test again the inferior line of the channel and to have one consolidation, and after that to break this trend line. So I will let this chart here just to remember, and I have to look on that chart what is happening on 4-hour chart. On 4-hour chart I can see, if you remember, I have just the impulse wave of the cycle. I have now probably I am waiting for one correction. So in this case, I'm looking to the signal. Signals here are for buying, and also I have signal here for one buy. So also SAR here, just change the position. So for the bigger time frame, I will think that in the medium period, the pair will not break the channel, as is indicating me 1 hour time frame. So those signals that I have here, that blue one, are identical with those two signals that are for buying. So this signal from 1 hour that is for sell and not confirmed by MACD will not be such a strong signal. So probably we will have one test of the channel. We can see also that the volatility is smaller because the bands, the Bollinger Bands are tightening. So we have to look what is happening in this area, if the pair will broke the channel or not. If we have some release or some political announcement, the channel can be broke. So we can see a downtrend. Actually, those are the periods when they are coming with statements. And actually, this is what we have to face as traders. But for this, we have to make the analysis, and also we have to make a very strong difference with one money management system that all the time can keep us out from troubles. Of course, we have to look also and to make one correlation between the position that we have and the time frames that we are looking for signal. And 1 hour time frame or into 5 minutes time frames, we have smaller variation that we have in into 1 hour chart, into 4 hour chart. Sorry. So actually, this is into 1 hour, the channel that we have here very clear. And you can see that the variation, I mean the distance between the waves that we are looking for are bigger. The stop loss have to be bigger. When you have a big distance for the stop loss, you have to take in consideration the other types of percentage in risk. You have to consider a bigger amount that is possible to lose, or you have to go into bigger time frames with smaller position than into 1 hour or smaller time. Okay, so actually I think that we exceeded too much the time of the webinar. So please, if you have some question, I will ask quickly, and we have to finish this webinar. Michael, no, I think that you have to make one click with the left. You need trend line to be selected. You need to have those 3 points. You have to push control on the computer and the trend line with left, and you can multiply. Left mouse and control, and you can make the second line. Okay, so not too many questions. Anyway, I think that you will review the webinar after we put it into the members area, and you can come later with questions. It's not a problem. We will answer to all of them. You are welcome. Actually, this is the idea, to make webinars and to explain everything. Thank you for your messages. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. And see you in the next webinar. Okay. Bye.